Hey guys, hope everyone's doing really well today or tonight. I want to quickly make a video on chasing meaningful work. Now, this has kind of come about because, through journaling, through kind of just trying different things, I've realized that, there are a lot of things in our life that we don't really, we don't really intentionally like kind of like plan to do or want to do. They just kind of fall into place for us. And that means that we're not actually kind of, chasing what we actually really want or what we feel purpose with doing, um, or it being super meaningful work at all. And look, that's fine for the most part, but I think that there's definitely something to say for actually, realizing, doing an audit of your life and realizing what things you actually do want to do, what things you don't want to do, where you find meaning and kind of chasing those goals and making it so that you can actually, live a really fulfilling life. Because if you're not really chasing anything exciting or meaningful, I feel like life can be kind of hollow. So, anyway, I won't make this a super long video. We'll get into it now. But yeah, look, I think meaningful work is really dependent on what you consider purposeful and meaningful. Now, there's no right or wrong answer. Some people really enjoy working with other people. Some people really enjoy, making a lot of money and then just being able to live the high life, and that's their mission. That's their purpose, making a lot of money, and that's fine. Um, Ideally, if you can connect it to something bigger than you, that would be awesome. For example, what you leave behind when you're gone, or maybe it has something to do with family, maybe it has something to do with giving back to those who aren't as fortunate as yourself. It could be something like Elon Musk creating SpaceX, or working with Tesla, where it's kind of super innovative and it's bringing value to people's life through you know cheaper gas or no gas. And in the case of SpaceX, bring people to Mars. Like, how cool would that be? Now, yeah, like I said, it just depends exactly on what meaningful work means to you. I can't tell you exactly what it means to you. It's kind of a personal thing. Now, I've written here that ideally your job will provide meaningful work, but it doesn't always have to. And I think for the most part that for a lot of people, it actually doesn't bring meaningful work, and it's kind of just something that they do day to day. And I think that's okay for the most part. I don't think that there's anything super wrong with that, because it's kind of hard to, pin down a job, a perfect job that pays really well and matches with exactly you want to do. I feel like that's kind of hard to do. For some people, it works out well, but for others, maybe not so much. So it doesn't always have to, though. So you could work a job, or make your money just for the sake of making money, and then you can kind of find that meaning in other ventures in life. It doesn't actually have to be a job. Your job might not be the most exciting thing ever, or you might not think you're providing the most, you're doing the most meaningful work, but you're able to find those things in other areas of your life, as we'll get into. Projects. I made a video on this previously, but I think if you can kind of test things that excite you or that are somewhat interesting to you, this would be a really good way to find out what meaningful work looks like for you. Now, for me personally, I know that making money is a key, really big, important thing for me, right? But that can get a little bit stale over time. It's like, where do you stop? So for me, teaching people, or I guess not teaching, but kind of just educating or enlightening people on kind of things that they should consider, for me, is really meaningful. It doesn't pay the bills or anything, but in my personal life, I speak to friends and family about this, and I'm doing the same now on YouTube as well. So for me, that's what I find super meaningful. And look, I've also struggled to find what exactly is meaningful to me. But I've been able to kind of, through things like journaling and through things like, looking at what your search history is, kind of just, you know, auditing you as a person and just kind of connecting the dots. You're able to kind of figure out, or at least get hints into what things might, excite you, what things you might find purpose or fulfillment in. So it's really important you do these things. Now, for implementing things that work for you, right? I think, like I just mentioned, if you haven't already, I think journaling or being able to reflect on your values and interests is super, super important. I mean, it's kind of like doing a massive project without a plan. It's kind of like building a business without a plan. You do need some you do need some background. You need to be able to audit yourself and figure out the ifs and buts. It's great that you can kind of rely on, for example, a YouTuber or a friend to kind of, guide you into some things. But the reality is, most people don't know themselves like really, really well. And I think that's key to actually figuring out what is purposeful and meaningful for you. Um, I actually did this, as an exercise before 2024 was finished. But, looking through your camera roll for the year and just finding things that kind of, you know, make you happy. Maybe there's some things in there that aren't as exciting. Maybe there's some things that you're like, I wish I didn't do. Note those things down. Write down, create a separation on your page. Write down what you did enjoy about the year, what you didn't enjoy, and just kind of see if you can connect the dots. And again, you might use this, in line with like a, reviewing your search history, what your favorite YouTubers talk about, what you're journaling about. Kind of connect the dots and see where you can find what's really exciting for you. And I've wrote here ChatGPT prompts. Yeah, look, I mean, AI has done a really, really great job at actually, being able to, I guess, delve into ideas and things that I couldn't do myself. And this works especially well if you don't have someone to talk to, like a life coach or a life expert. But asking simple prompts can kind of help. They might give you a hint, or they might trigger something in your mind that goes, "Oh, why didn't I think of X, Y, Z?" So I found that really helpful as well. Um, and yeah, lots of creators online talk about their experience and genuinely finding meaningful work. A lot of people are doing this nowadays, really like delving into their passions and what they find meaningful. I think it's fantastic. Obviously, it's a really good thing. And it just gives you more and more reason to actually pursue it yourself and not, let it go by the wayside and, just keep going on with a, okay life, with okay work or okay friends or okay living situation, and yeah, you can watch my previous video on why you need cool projects. I this maybe was a couple of videos ago, but it just kind of just delved into exactly, what kind of things you could be doing, and kind of how to approach that, right? How to add a little bit of spice in your life, how to, do something exciting. Not many people do. A lot of people just kind of travel through life as is, and look, that's fine, I think, for the most part. But if you're someone who wants a little bit more, you can't really be doing that. Um, Now, look, once things have been set up for you, I think if you can remove things that don't work. So, for example, right, if you found that you find meaning in doing and educating people, maybe you find meaning in becoming, a fitness influencer. Maybe you find meaning in painting, and maybe, recording exactly what your approach is when you're painting. Maybe it's simply just selling paintwork and paintwork. I'm not sure if that's a word. Paintings, and seeing the smile on people's faces. Once you've established what you find meaningful and purposeful, if you can set boundaries with those things that actually don't align with what you find meaningful, and even worse, if they drain your energy, you definitely, want to eliminate those things as much as possible. I think, for example, I've added here scrolling on social media. Now, scrolling on social media, I mean, there's, lots of people are talking about how damaging it can be. I think in this case, I personally find that I scroll on social media when there's something I have to do, but I'm procrastinating or I'm not actually addressing it. If that's the case, address that and realize why you're scrolling on social media. Is it because you don't like what you're doing? Are you confused? Are you lost? I think, do things that can kind of set you up for success and remove those things that don't. And scrolling on social media, for me, it was just kind of a means of wasting time and procrastination. So, remove those things or eliminate them as much as possible. And I think that'll be really beneficial. And yeah, look, you're not going to be able to eliminate everything. For example, a toxic family member or you still need a job, for example. We all do. So you're not going to be able to eliminate everything, but if you can kind of take steps to reduce, obviously that's the best that you can do. And maybe in the future you might be able to eliminate, but there is no ticking time bomb. Just if you can kind of progress a little bit every day, then that's all that matters. And look, if you compare, your meaningful work and what you do with, for example, reading and journaling, what you're going to be able to do is kind of dig a little bit deeper and delve deeper and kind of, learn a little bit more and kind of, specialize in that field or in that area that you find fulfillment and purpose. Um, it's just digging a layer deeper and finding out the whys. Why do you love doing this? Why do you find value in this? And why I think that that's really important is you're going to be able to, again, further connect the dots and then find new opportunities or be able to pivot. And look, sometimes we get bored of certain things, sometimes we just lose interest over time. But being able to understand, the very, very why in terms of why you find fulfillment or purpose in something, you're able to take that. For example, it could be helping people, it could be showing people that you're a high achiever and that you achieve in various areas of life. Take that and then apply it to different things and see how you feel. Always keep testing and trying different things. I don't think it's great to kind of sit on one thing forever. I think you need to try different things and kind of grow and expand in life. um, and yeah, ultimately, it won't be perfect. And what matters is that you're making progress towards a better life. Don't think you're going to hit the most meaningful and purposeful work straight away. If you do, fantastic. Is there probably a little bit more that you could learn or could do to make it even more interesting and meaningful? Probably if you hit it the first go. But these things take time. This isn't something that happens instantly. You might have actually been doing it as a kid when you were younger, where you found you're doing something that was super interesting, super meaningful, and that's kind of just fallen by the wayside over time. But look, whatever it is, you're making progress. You're testing different things at work, and you'll eventually hit it. But you can't stop and just give up, because once you kind of say that's it, I'm sick of trying. That's when you actually fail. Um, I'm sure you guys have heard, like, if you fail and keep going, it's not a failure, etc. But the reality is, it's just a continuous experiment and testing and testing. For example, for me, I've tested lots of different ways of doing social media: TikTok, Medium, Instagram, you name it. Um, and look, I'm still experimenting every day. But um, yeah, look, I'll leave it there. But hopefully, you guys have found some value in this. I think that, yeah, this is a continuous experiment. It is something that takes time, and it's super important. A meaningful life is it's a well lived life. So make the most of it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.